Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Bo Cephas Jones. We're joined by two very special guests tonight. The first, a very well-known patriot named Alexander Hamilton. And the other, lesser known, but also quite famous, a loyalist named William Franklin, whose daddy you may know, Ben Franklin. Mr. Hamilton, let's start with you. Would you tell us a little bit about your childhood?
Well, thanks for having me today. I was not actually born here in the colonies, but I was born in the Caribbean on an island called Nevis. That was back in 1755. Didn't have the happiest of childhood, though. My dad was kind of a jerk, and he ran away from me and my mom, and then my mom ended up dying when I was little too, so it was rough for me when I was little.
Ooh, interesting. How about you, Mr. Franklin?
Well, that's a sad story, Mr. Hamilton. Let me tell you about my childhood. I'm a wee bit older than you, son. I was born in 1730, see? Most people know me because my dad was Ben Franklin, but I was born in Philadelphia, raised by Ben and my mama. At a young age, I really enjoyed going to England with my daddy, and we used to go there often. It was a pretty good childhood for me.
Would you both tell us a little bit about your lives as young men?
Well, I came to America in order to go to King's College. Now they call it Columbia University. But I came here to study law and all sorts of things until 1775, when the Revolutionary War broke out. Well, I wasn't about to just sit around and do nothing. I wanted to join in and help fight them British. So I did, and I fought alongside George Washington in the Revolutionary War.
I see. And you, Frankie, you had quite an interesting story.
Yeah, sure. I made myself a lawyer, spent some time in London, married myself a sweet little thing, and then I eventually came back to the colonies where I was named Royal Governor of New Jersey. Can you believe that? Royal Governor, named by the King himself. So that was my career for most of my time, lawyer and governor.
Well, that's an impressive career, sir. But for me, when the Revolutionary War ended, there was only one thing for me to do, and that was to continue serving my country in the U.S. government. So I did. First, I served under George Washington as the Secretary of the Treasury, and then I served the government in various other ways throughout my years. Let's cut all this jibber-jabber and get down to why we're really here. I want us to talk about this business of independence. You rebels like Mr. Hamilton, you got no idea what you're doing. We're Englishmen. I'm an Englishman, my daddy's an Englishman, my granddaddy's an Englishman, my great-granddaddy's an Englishman, and so on. Always been Englishmen. I don't know why you're in such a hurry to change.
Whoa, now, Mr. Franklin, hold on a second. Nobody's saying we're in a hurry to change. I love England too, but if I'm an Englishman, then why aren't I being treated like one? I'm being taxed illegally. I'm being bullied by our soldiers. I'm getting my money and my house taken from me. That doesn't sound like I'm being treated like an Englishman.
Hey, don't get your britches all in a bunch, sonny. Of course England needs your money. It's cousins you that they's poor. They fought for you in that French and Indian War there. And who's gonna pay for it? You ought to at least help. I mean, my goodness.
I don't mind helping, sir. But when they make me do it illegally, that's another issue. Sure, I'll pay taxes, but we gotta be represented in the vote. That's the law. Also, why are you gonna bully us around? We've tried for years now to send peaceful requests to the king, petition him, and he won't back down. So now it seems only reasonable the only way to get what we want is to become independent.
Independent? Son, what you know about independent? What you want to be independent from?
Independent from Britain's military help? What you gonna do when France attacks? Independent from your number one trade partner in the world? Who you gonna trade with now? You need England. This independence talk is nothing but foolishness, and it's against the law. Goddamn. Well, we're just gonna have to disagree, sir. I've already taken many steps to try to get our independence. I've drafted anti-tax resolutions. I've written to the king on behalf of George Washington several times. I've helped write a new plan for government if and we win this war. I mean, I'm doing all I can to make sure this United States takes off and succeeds.
Oh, isn't that special, Fuzzy Britches?
Well, you ain't done as much as me. I've helped organize a secret spy ring to spy on patriots. I've held rebellions with my loyalist compadres. I've even been taken prisoner by you daggone rebels. I've done more for my cause than you ever hoped to, mister.
Whoa, fellas, that was a little heated. We are running out of time, though, so I'm going to have to ask you to just make a final comment and then we'll wrap up.
Well, in closing, sir, I'd just like to reaffirm my stance that I think independence is the only way forward for our United States. It just ain't working with Britain and we got to split. I just hope I can live the rest of my life in peace, grow old with my grandchildren, make sure I never get shot by anybody, and maybe even when I'm long gone have a hip-hop play written about me and performed all over the world. Wouldn't that be something? A hip-hop play? I'll hippity-hop all over you, you grade A moron. You and the rest of your rebels, including my daddy Ben. You're acting foolish, and you don't know what you got coming. Independence ain't right, it's treasonous, and I say you're making a big mistake. Peace out.
Thanks again for joining us today on Loyalist versus Patriot. I've been your host, Bocephus Jones, and I echo the words of Mr. Franklin. Peace out!